Hey everyone, John Henry here from School of Trade. Today we're going to be taking a look at a wave pattern short here. First target's going to be at 10866. Then the final target we're going to go down to 57, and that's going to be the final objective to the downside. So the way that we're seeing everything kind of move today on the euro versus especially the other markets is very lackluster. The euro, we're not really seeing that big movement. We had some nice morning movement. If you trade the European session, it was an absolutely gorgeous day of movement. But coming into the US session, we're seeing a little bit of a different scenario. Very slow, very methodical, just kind of moving around and doing its thing. So looking for a very small wave pattern short inside this range, primarily just to get back to the range lows. You can see that we've been just kind of pinging back and forth here inside this range. We came off the lows, we're at the highs, we're falling off the highs and looking to get back down to the lows. So a target of 857 puts us right down at those lows, right in the area that we want to be looking for. So our entry point is at 872. Our first target is coming off at 866. So a small little 6-tick scalp, if that doesn't go to show you how the movement is. And then the final target a little bit farther down at 57, which is a 15-tick target on the second portion. So plenty of movement in terms of the early morning session. We're not seeing that follow up really in the US session, so looking for smaller scalps like this is kind of the only option we have on the euro. But outside of that, it's setting up to be an absolutely gorgeous wave pattern. Perfect rejection near and off the trigger zone, right back under the BMT, coming back down. So now we just need to kind of let the market do its thing and work its way lower. It is obviously slow. We've said that several times already. So I'm not anticipating this just to become a rocket ship and go flying to the downside. We are nearing our target. Our first target's only one tick away, but keep in mind that first target is very small as well, so initial scalp targets aren't that difficult to get. It's getting that final runner after the fact to get down to that 57, 56, 55 area to get those targets filled down there. So we're sitting in a pretty solid entry area so far, taking 2 off at 6, that's 12, and another 2 off at 15 for another 30. It's 42 total ticks possible. With 42 ticks on the euro, it's 12.50 a tick, a slightly different market in terms of cost. So that means that we're looking at about $525 on the trade. So even though it's not a very big trade, this little scalp can still pull in over $500 for us if we can get the move all the way down to that final target. So don't be deceived by those small moves. They can definitely pay. There we get that first target filled. Stop's going to go to break even. Because of this being such a small move, I'm going to go straight to break even, not +1. I want to give this as much room as possible before locking in. If we can break this low underneath 63, then we can look to lock in at +1, maybe a little bit farther. But until that point, really looking at trying to give it as much room as we can with only a 6-tick distance. So we'll give it a little bit of time here, see if we can break underneath this low and then edge our way towards that 857 area. All right, pushing back down into our low, coming 1 tick away from our target. Let's lock the stop in nice and tight here since we're 1 tick away. I don't want to see this even turn into a reversal bar before getting our target filled here. So 10,857 is going to be our final objective, just kind of grinding our way through. We did finally get a breakdown of that low, pulled back to the cloud, and then dumped right back down again, which is where we are currently. So locking the stop in a little bit tighter at 864, coming 1 tick away from the target. We just need to see a little bit more from us here. In terms of the movement, it's very slow. It's exactly what we've been expecting. All of this movement, 15 ticks of it, it's been a half hour. So 30 minutes to go 15 ticks really goes to show you how slow this market really is right now. Just need a little bit more oomph from the sellers here coming in. Stop is nice and tight here to lock out the rest of the risk. Worst case, if it does come back and swing us out, we still pull in, I think it's 8 ticks. Yeah, an 8-tick stop on the final portion there. So we do have at least a little bit of profit locked in. I like this stop placement for a couple reasons. We came 1 tick away, so I like locking it in a little bit tighter, but it's also ahead of that swing low, so that area can act as resistance to hold price away. If it does break above that, I don't know that I would really want it anymore anyway. So that's kind of where we stand right now. Now it's just a waiting game to see if they can push back down and get that target filled. All right, there we finally get the target filled. I had to pause it for a little while there. Taken forever to get that grind lower. We had a little bit of a wick that pushed higher here. The nice thing about that resistance is it held price down, and we finally got our target filled after waiting about 30 minutes for that final push down here on the euro. So that's going to do it. 42 ticks overall. It's $525 on the trade on a relatively kind of slow morning, at least on the euro. If you're trading crude oil or the S&P or anything anything like that this morning, you're having a heck of a time. But the euro, slow and methodical is the name of the game. So if you have any questions about it, feel free to shoot an email to School of Trade. Don't forget to check out our trial at schooloftrade.com. And as always, we'll catch you next time.